Is that a fucking Vought bull?
Dr. Shaw was my top man.
I say we fucking leg it.
Butcher's right. It's too valuable.
Like you did with Firecracker. I got the head popper, and you can't even get it out.
Enough! Run!
Loose, trashed the lab. We ran, but the
Guys,
leaked in.
stop, son of a bitch.
I should have fucking.
Nice and slow.
Could die.
Loud, and this isn't the time or the place.
Fucking way.
Enough, not now. I won't be able to outrun them.
Oh, don't you
Is
cry
that
for
a
that,
fucking
cunt.
Vought bull?
Top man.
Off we fuck.
R&D before he went behind my
Okay,
back
we
and he
run.
thought
We don't all make it.
Darwinism, love. Don't gotta be the fastest.
Really don't care who you just throw to the wolves.
No, not really.
You're a monster. And I'm not letting you do this.
Fluid, blood, saliva, semen.
Okay, so we inject.
Something is wrong in the countryside, but no one is talking about it. A place that should be quiet is now empty, broken, and covered in fear. Even the boys, who have seen monsters and mad soups, are not ready for what is waiting here. Because this time, the enemy is not a hero, not a villain, but something that was never meant to exist at all. And once it breaks free, it does not stay under control for long. The world has not gotten better. It has only gotten more unstable. After everything that happened with Soups and Vought, people are still trying to live normal lives, but normal no longer feels real. Every day, there is another story of something going wrong, a Soup attack in one city, a secret experiment in another, and always the same answer from those in power: silence or lies. The boys are still in the middle of it all. They are tired, but they cannot stop. Because every time they think things are calming down, something new appears, something worse. Something that should never have been created in the first place. This time, the signs are different. Not loud like before, not public. This time, it is hidden. Deep in the countryside, far away from cameras and news, strange reports begin to appear. Farmers lose animals overnight. Security cameras stop working for no reason. People hear strange sounds in the fields at night, but when they go to check, nothing is there. Just broken fences and empty spaces where life used to be. At first, no one takes it seriously. It sounds too small compared to soup wars and city destruction, but small things like this are how bigger problems usually begin, and the boys know this better than anyone. Inside Vought, things are always moving in secret. New projects are always being tested, always being hidden. Not everything is about fame or heroes. Some projects are about control, some are about power that no one is supposed to see. In one of these hidden spaces, something went wrong. A test that was supposed to be simple did not stay simple. It was meant to be contained, observed, and controlled. But control is never guaranteed when Compound V is involved. The result of that failure was not announced. It was not recorded in any public report. Instead, it was buried under layers of locked files and erased names. But things like that never stay buried forever. Something escaped. Not a soup in the usual sense, not a human with powers, something else. Something that came from life that was already simple and was pushed into something unnatural. Out in the farms and fields, people do not know the word for it. They only know that something is wrong. Animals are acting strange. Even the air feels different in some places. Like the land itself is waiting for something to happen. And in the middle of all this quiet fear, Vought begins to move faster behind the scenes. They send teams, they erase records, they block signals, but they do not explain why. Because explaining would mean admitting failure. The boys finally hear about it through a leaked message. At first, it sounds like a joke, a biological issue in the countryside, something involving animals. Nothing serious. At least that is how it is described, but they have learned one thing over time. When Vought says nothing serious, it usually means the opposite. Still, even they pause when they read the first details. Missing livestock, destroyed property, no clear attack pattern, no human suspect, just chaos in a pattern that does not make sense. Frenchie is the first to question it. His mind always looks for patterns in science, in chemicals, in experiments, but even he cannot explain this easily. Is more direct. He does not care what it is yet. He just wants to know if it can hurt people. And Butcher, as always, only cares about one thing: who caused it. The answer, even before they arrive, is already clear. Vought is involved, and that changes everything. Because if Vought is involved, it is never just an accident. It is always a choice. They are given a location, remote farmland, no public access, no media coverage, no official records, just a blank space on the map where something is happening that should not be happening. And the boys prepare to go in, not knowing that this mission will not feel like anything they have faced before. Before they leave, there is a strange feeling in the air. Not fear exactly, but something close to it. The kind of feeling you get when you know you are walking into something you do not fully understand. This is not like fighting soups in a city. There are no crowds, no cameras, no public chaos to hide behind, just empty land and unknown danger. Butcher does not show doubt, but even he knows this is different. He has faced monsters in human form before, but this feels less human, more like something that was never meant to think, but now does. checks the gear again and again, even though it is all simple equipment. There is no special weapon for something they do not understand yet. That is the problem. You cannot prepare for what you cannot define. Frenchie keeps talking softly, more to himself than anyone else. He is trying to connect the science, trying to make sense of what kind of process could create something like this. But every answer leads to more questions, and Huey just listens. He has learned not to interrupt when the world starts to feel wrong in a quiet way, because that is usually when things become dangerous. As they move closer to the location, the world outside starts to feel emptier. Roads become longer and quieter. Buildings become fewer. And then finally, there is only land. Wide, open, and silent. But silence is never truly empty. It is just waiting. The problem did not start outside in the fields. It started deep inside a place no one is supposed to see. A Vought facility built far away from cities, hidden behind layers of land, silence, and security. On paper, it was nothing important. Just another research site, just another controlled space for animal-based testing. That is what the reports say. But reports never tell the full truth. Inside, the goal was simple in theory and dangerous in reality. Take Compound 5 research and push it into new areas. Not just humans, not just soups, but anything living. The idea was to see how far power could be stretched before it broke nature itself. Some called it progress, others called it necessary, but no one called it safe. The test subjects were not people. They were animals from nearby farms. Sheep were chosen because they were common, easy to replace, and easy to ignore if something went wrong. That was the logic. If something failed, no one would ask too many questions. No one important would notice. At first, everything looked normal. Small changes, slight behavior shifts, faster reactions, sharper focus. The scientists marked it as successful adaptation. That was the first mistake, because they thought control meant stability. But Compound V does not create stability. It creates change, constant change. Then the changes stopped being small. The sheep began reacting to sound in strange ways, not just hearing it, but responding together, moving together, watching together. Like they were no longer separate minds, but part of something shared. The researchers noted it, but did not stop the experiment. They wanted more data, more proof, more time. Owaisuumheim was the second mistake. One night, a containment line failed, not because of an attack, not because of sabotage, but because something inside the system adapted faster than the system itself. Locks that were supposed to hold firm stopped responding. Doors that were supposed to stay sealed opened without command. Security feeds began to glitch, then freeze, then go dark one by one. Inside the facility, the first sign of real danger was not noise. It was silence. The kind of silence that feels wrong. The kind that tells you something has already happened, and you just do not know what it is yet. When backup systems kicked in, it was already too late. Movement was recorded in areas that were supposed to be empty. shapes moving too fast for normal animals, coordination that did not match natural behavior. The researchers tried to regroup, but communication started breaking down. Not from outside interference, but from internal system failure. And then came the breach. No alarms explained it properly, no report could fully describe it. The containment simply stopped being containment. The boundary between inside and outside disappeared in minutes. What was once controlled space became open space. The sheep were no longer just reacting. They were moving with purpose. Not random panic, not confusion, direction. As if something in them had learned how to decide. Some tried to escape the facility. Some tried to seal it again. Neither side succeeded, because the problem was no longer in one room or one cage. It had already spread through the structure itself. By the time emergency protocols activated, there was nothing left to contain. Only evidence that something had gone very wrong, very fast, and very quietly. Vought's first response was not rescue. It was denial. Official channels were shut down immediately. Internal logs were wiped or locked. Names of staff were removed from active records. The site was marked as inactive, then abandoned, then erased from public systems entirely. To anyone outside, it never became a story. But nature does not follow paperwork. What left that facility did not stay there. It moved outward into open land, where fences are weaker and surveillance is almost nothing. At first, it was slow. A few missing animals here and there, strange tracks in soil that did not match known patterns, broken gates with no sign of forced entry. Then it became consistent. Whole groups of livestock disappearing overnight. No bodies left behind. No clear signs of predators. Just emptiness where life used to be. Farmers began locking everything down, but locks do not help when you do not know what you are locking against. Reports started coming in, but they were dismissed quickly. Too strange, too inconsistent, too impossible to be taken seriously. Until too many reports came from too many places. That is when Vought stopped ignoring it and started hiding it. Because now it was no longer contained in one facility. It was spreading across land they did not control. And anything that spreads without permission becomes a liability. They sent cleanup teams, not to fix the problem, but to reduce exposure. Evidence was removed. Witness accounts were questioned or erased. Any connection to Compound 5e research was denied at every level. But the pattern was already forming. Something had escaped the lab, and it was learning how to survive outside it. The message comes in like all the others. Fast, quiet, and without warning. No official briefing, no public alert. Just a sealed file dropped into their system through a channel that only a few people know exists. That alone is enough to tell the boys this is not normal. At first, it looks like a mistake. The title of the file is almost ridiculous compared to everything they have dealt with before. Unclassified biological disturbance, rural zone. No soup name, no city alert, no confirmed threat level, just vague words that feel too soft for anything connected to Vought. Huey is the first to react like it might not be real. It sounds too small, too strange. Something about missing animals and broken fences does not match the kind of chaos they are used to. It feels like the kind of job someone else should handle. Someone local. Not them. Reads it twice, slowly. He does not care how strange it sounds. He only cares about one thing. Does it hurt people or not? The report is unclear on that. No confirmed human deaths, no soup sightings, no direct attacks. That is what makes it worse. Because when harm is unclear, it usually means it is hidden. Frenchie does not laugh at it like he normally would. Instead, he goes quiet. He starts scanning the details, not for humor, but for patterns. Chemical traces are mentioned. Animal behavior shifts are mentioned. System failures in nearby monitoring equipment are mentioned. None of it connects properly, but all of it feels off in the same direction. Butcher, as always, skips the reading and goes straight to the conclusion. Vought is mentioned in the hidden metadata. That is all he needs. The rest is decoration. To him, if Vought is near it, then it is already guilty. He does not care what the problem is yet. He only cares who created it. The decision to move is not debated for long. It never is. The boys do not wait for permission. They do not wait for confirmation. They go when something feels wrong enough to matter. And this feels wrong in a quiet way, the kind of wrong that does not scream, the kind that waits. The location is remote, farmland outside major routes. No press coverage, no official reports, no public attention. That is exactly why it matters. Because Vought does not put important failures in public places. They bury them where no one looks. They prepare quickly, but the mood is different this time. There is less confidence in jokes, less noise in conversation. Even the usual sarcasm feels thinner. It is not fear exactly. It is uncertainty. The kind that comes when you do not know what category the enemy belongs to yet. Weapons are checked, but nothing special is added. That is the problem. There is no known soupy signature to prepare for. No clear target to study. Just a blank space on a map with signs of something happening inside it. Fighting something you understand is routine. Fighting something you do not understand is not. As they get closer to leaving, the silence between them becomes heavier. No one says it out loud, but everyone is thinking the same thing. They have fought gods in suits, monsters in cities, and people who think they are untouchable. But this feels different. Not bigger, not louder, just unknown. Butcher finally breaks the silence with a simple order. No speech, no explanation. Just movement. He does not like uncertainty, so he replaces it with action. That is how he stays in control, or at least pretends to. They move out. The journey itself starts like any other mission. Roads, vehicles, distance. But as they leave the city behind, something subtle begins to change. The world gets quieter. Buildings become fewer. Signals weaken. Even conversation slows without anyone noticing. Huey looks out of the window more than usual. There is nothing dramatic outside, just fields, empty stretches, and long roads. But emptiness can feel heavy when it lasts too long. It starts to feel like something is missing, even when nothing is visibly wrong. Frenchie keeps checking his devices, not because they are broken, but because he does not trust that they are telling the full truth. Every reading is slightly inconsistent. Small drops in signal strength, small delays in response. Nothing that should matter on its own, but together it forms a pattern he does not like. Stays focused on the route, but even he notices how quiet everything feels. No animals, no movement near the roadside, just still land passing by like it has been paused. Butcher watches all of it without comment. He has been in enough situations to know when a mission is normal and when it is not. This one is not normal, but it is still early. That is what he tells himself. Problems always reveal themselves eventually. And somewhere far ahead, in land that looks ordinary from a distance, something is already waiting without making a sound. The closer they get to the location, the more the world begins to feel unfinished. Roads that should be busy turn empty. Small towns pass without movement in the streets. Even the normal background noise of life starts to fade, like someone slowly turning the volume down on reality. At first, it is easy to ignore. Remote areas are always quieter. Less traffic, fewer people, less activity. But this silence is different. It does not feel natural. It feels held in place, like the land itself is waiting and refusing to speak. The vehicle slows as they reach the final stretch. The road becomes uneven, cracked, and half covered in dry grass. Fields stretch out on both sides, wide and open, but nothing moves inside them. No birds, no animals, not even insects seem present. It is the kind of stillness that makes even normal sounds feel too loud. Huey is the first to notice how strange it feels when he speaks softly, and his voice seems to travel too far. There is no natural background noise to absorb it. Every sound stands alone, exposed. It makes him lower his voice without thinking. Frenchie watches the land closely. He is not looking for something obvious. He is looking for patterns that should exist, but do not. The absence of life is more disturbing to him than its presence would be, because nature does not usually go this quiet without reason. checks the perimeter as they move. Old fencing lines appear along the edges of the fields. Some are broken, some are bent inward, but there are no clear signs of struggle. No drag marks, no scattered remains. It is not destruction in the normal sense. It is removal. Butcher keeps his eyes forward. He does not like what he is seeing, but he refuses to react to it yet. For him, reacting too early means losing control. Still, even he can feel that this is not just another mission zone. It feels like something has already passed through here and decided not to leave anything behind. They finally arrive near the central farm zone. Buildings stand ahead, but they do not look active. Doors are open where they should be closed. Windows are dark even in daylight. Tools are left outside as if someone dropped everything and never came back to collect it. There is no sign of panic. That is what makes it worse. Panic leaves evidence. This place does not show panic, it shows interruption. They move in carefully, spacing themselves out. Every step feels louder than it should. The ground is dry, and small cracks in the soil shift under their boots. Even the wind feels inconsistent, coming and going in short, uneven bursts. Inside one of the barns, the air changes slightly. It is not a smell exactly, but a feeling. Like something organic should be present, but is not. The space is too empty for what it used to hold. Frenchie scans the interior. His device picks up weak biological traces, but they are scattered and incomplete. Not enough to identify anything clearly. It is like trying to read a sentence where half the words have been erased. Then they hear it. Not a loud sound, not an attack, just movement somewhere deeper inside the structure. A shift in wood, a soft impact against something solid. Slow, controlled, and deliberate. Everyone freezes for a moment. Not because they are afraid of noise, but because of how controlled it sounds. Animals do not usually move like that when they are scared. Fear is messy. This is not messy. MM signals silently. They spread out, adjusting positions without speaking. The barn feels larger now, not physically, but mentally. Like the space has expanded around whatever is inside it. A shape appears briefly between broken slats of wood. Too fast to fully identify, low to the ground. Not human, not normal livestock movement either. It pauses for a second, then shifts again, as if it is observing them back. Huey feels his breathing change without meaning to. He tries to stay still, but stillness feels like exposure in this place. Everything feels like it can notice them. Frenchie whispers that something is wrong with the movement pattern. It is not random. It is coordinated in a way that suggests awareness. Not instinct awareness. Butcher raises his weapon slightly, not firing yet. He is waiting for Confid.